Tom Cruise might be all smiles on screen, but don't mistake kindness for weakness. Because when you cross a line, he won't scream. He won't curse. He'll just dismantle your entire question, your tone, your intent, and your professionalism in a matter of seconds. And he'll do it without ever raising his voice. This is the story of the man who redefined composure in Hollywood. A global icon, a lightning rod, and someone you never want to ambush with a loaded question. From awkward talk shows to confrontational interviews, these are the 10 moments Tom Cruise shut it all down without breaking a sweat. It started like a typical fun segment where Ellen DeGeneres tries to play and fails. And Britney or Christina, what do you mean? Britney's here. I don't know what I'm not even sure what I mean. I've never thought about it. All right. Right. Tom's refusal to answer wasn't rude, it was calculated. He made it clear that he doesn't do surface-level games. Not on camera, not ever. And this was just a warm-up. Then came Matt Lauer. He brought the heat. Tom brought the facts. It was 2005, and Tom was being pressed on his stance against antidepressants, especially in relation to actress Brooke Shields. She said that this particular thing helped her feel better whether it was the antidepressant or going to a counselor or a psychiatrist. Matt, you have to understand this. Here we are today where I talk out against drugs and psychiatric abuses of electric shocking people. Okay. Against their will of drugging children with them, not knowing the effects of these drugs. Do you know what Adderall is? Do you know Ritalin? Do you know now that RIN is a street drug? Do you understand that? The difference is this was not against her will though. This wasn't asking you a question. Matt, I'm asking you a question. I understand there's abuse of all of these things. No, you see, here's the problem. You don't know the history of psychiatry. I do. All it does is mask the problem, Matt. And if you understand the history of it, it masks the problem. That's what it does. So postpartum depression to you is kind of a little psychological. Matt pushed. Tom didn't budge. I'm just asking what would you call it? Matt, that is the post. Now you're talking about two different things. But that's what she went on the antidepressant for. But what happens, the antidepressant, all it does is mask the problem. There's ways of vitamins, and through exercise and various things. I'm not saying that that isn't real. That's not what I'm saying. That's an alteration of what I'm saying. I'm saying that drugs aren't the answer. That these drugs are very dangerous. They're mind-altering antipsychotic drugs. And there are ways of doing it without that so that we don't end up in a brave new world. Matt tried to soften the confrontation, but Tom's voice never wavered. And you're here on the Today Show and to talk about it in a way of saying, well, isn't it okay in being reasonable about it when you don't know? And I think that you should be a little bit more responsible in knowing what it is because you communicate to people. No yelling, no insults, just razor-sharp precision that left Lauer looking like the uninformed one. It was intense, uncomfortable, and legendary. Australian interviewer Peter Overton asked the question millions probably wondered, but instead of getting a juicy answer, he got checked. Was Nicole the love of your life? What do you mean, Peter? You were married for 10 years. Listen, we raised children. How do you answer that? How do you answer that question? She's someone that I plan on getting married again. You do? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and having kids. Absolutely. But Nicole was a major part of your life and a love of your life at the time. I loved Nick very much. There's no question. Would you like Nicole to remarry? Yes. I want Nicole to be happy. That's what I want. And do you have a relationship where you talk, it's a parenting relationship, and talk professionally about each other's why don't listen? Here's the thing, Peter. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line. You know you are. I suppose they're questions that people want to know. Peter, you want to know. Tom stared at him. Peter stumbled. What began as an attempt to pry open personal wounds became a masterclass in setting boundaries. An Asian reporter once asked Tom about Trump-era tariffs and overseas film productions. It was a complicated, politically charged question disguised as casual curiosity. I love like to ask this question to anyone who's up for it. I think so. I watched the film, and I saw that it was filmed in many different locations around the world, including Africa. And of course, we all are aware of the tariffs that President Donald Trump has been imposing on overseas productions and films. So is this particular movie under that tariff? And also how much of the film was shot overseas? I think that's a fair answer. All right. Can we move on to the next question, please? No reaction, no comment, just a subtle shift in expression. It was brutal. Without saying a single word, sometimes silence is the loudest response you can give. And came the Sophia Bella's interview. At first, it was light and breezy. A conversation about a fight scene between Tom and Russell Crowe. But then another reporter jumped in with this bizarre question. These high standards for yourself with these stunts, but everyone else has to step up. Russell Crowe has said that in this film he plays Dr. Jekyll. You have a fabulous fight scene, and he said you both had a discussion. You said, you know what, let's both just absolutely go for it. Yeah. And look, he's an amazing athlete. He's very good stunt man himself also. And you know, if you look at that, the fight sequence that we have together, we really had a lot of fun doing that. He said he got bruised. I don't know how much fun he had. Both of us got bruised when he picks me up and slams me on that table. You know, it's a real table. Yeah, he's got to do it. Away from that and go, he would actually beat me if we went at it properly. If you had a fight properly. Why do you ask that question? Why think of stuff like that? I don't even think like I'm going to fight my friend, because you're always thinking of the audience when you're about to. Exactly. He's my friend. You know, that would never happen. The question was awkward, but Tom's answer composed, firm, and icy. The message was clear. He wasn't there to entertain dumb hypotheticals, especially ones that pitted him against friends. Now, this one crossed the line from awkward into just plain disrespectful. A man disguised as a reporter squirted water in Tom's face during a red carpet interview. He's got a family. He's got the journey of this family. That's why would you do that? Why would you do that? Come here. Why would you do that? He looked the man dead in the eye. He repeated the phrase calmly, firmly, again and again. The prankster was stunned. What's so funny about that? It's ridiculous. I'm a qualified event. That's really hey, no. Don't run away. That's incredibly rude. I'm here giving you an interview and answering your questions, and you do something really nasty. You're a jerk. Tom wasn't angry. He was disappointed. And that's what made it hit so much harder. In a separate interview, Tom was asked a strange hypothetical. It was a veiled jab, suggesting his life isn't normal, that his stardom made him less human. Going back to Mission Impossible, one of my favorite bits of tech in that movie is, of course, the masks, right? And the reveal. If you could have a mask of just an average person, no one knows who you are and you could walk about your life. No one knows that you're Tom Cruise. What are you doing? Beg your pardon. What are you doing? Like it's not you. What would I do? Yeah, what would you do? No one knows it's you. They can't be there. No, but I just do the same thing I always do. Go watch movies. Go make movies. Go tour the world. I feel it's a privilege. It's a dream of mine my whole life to do what I do. And travel the world, the places where I was in America, and just work in these environments, and the kind of welcome that I get. I never take it for granted. It's very beautiful, so I enjoy it. I enjoy people. Tom didn't miss a beat. He wasn't rattled. He owned it because he knows exactly who he is and doesn't need to justify that to anyone. On Jimmy Kimmel Live, Jimmy tried to paint Tom as out of touch. And to be honest, I use you as a distraction to get to my car. I'm trying to help you out with it. I appreciate that, but are there times where you just want to get to where you're going to go? And can you even could you get on public transportation or go to a museum? Look, I'm ready for whatever is going to happen. So, I don't change my life. But look, I like talking to people, and as I said, I make my movies for them. And yeah, I do go on transportation. My security loves that when I do that, the tube in England. Tom smiled, then dropped a story that shut it all down. Oh, I do that. Like sometimes I'll put on my hat and my earphones and I'll just go in and get on the tube just if I want to get to the stage. Does that work? Do people stop you? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it works. Sometimes people are during rush hour like I go in and I'll be there. And I remember one time I was there. And there's like 14-year-old kid, this girl was there. And everyone was looking at their phones. And I just saw her, I looked over and kind of my head's down. I got my baseball cap and she's just staring at me like this, and I looked at her and she looked at me, and she just looked around the subway like it was funny but real. Tom doesn't brag, he just lives. And when challenged, he brings stories, not excuses. Then came the insult. During a press tour for Collateral, an interviewer said the role seemed more fitting for Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. How are you? Hello. Very well, thank you. So when I read about this movie, I said, well, this is a typical movie for Al Pacino or for Robert De Niro. And then you went and took that role upon yourself. The insult wasn't even subtle. Tom didn't flinch. He leaned in. I mean, I don't get afraid to take on characters. I get excited. You know, there's always that question of, is it going to work? Will I be able to do it? To what level? But I really enjoy starting a character and just having at it, and see what happens. He didn't defend his acting skills. He demonstrated his confidence. The interviewer tried to knock him down a peg. Tom stood taller instead. And when the same interviewer crossed another line, mic drop. Take responsibility for what you want to know. Don't say what other people. This is a conversation that I'm having with you right now. You're right. Okay. So I'm just telling you right now, okay, just put your manners back in. Do you think I was out of line? Yes, absolutely. Well, I apologize for that sincerely. Good. Over the years, interviewers have tried it all. Loaded questions, personal digs, gotcha moments, even physical pranks. Tom never plays their game because he doesn't need to raise his voice to make a point. He doesn't need to explode to hold power. He doesn't need to humiliate anyone to feel bigger. His power is in restraint, in control, in knowing that silence or a well-placed sentence can hit harder than any rant ever could. So the next time you see Tom Cruise smiling during a press tour, just remember that smile isn't weakness. It's a warning, because if you step out of line, he won't shout. He'll outclass you.